want to take you through the complete process of how to embroider a design. I'm going to just pick design number 23. It's got 2 colors. It's not too long to stitch. It's got 4,600 stitches in it. So let's start off by going to our start menu, picking our designs and stitch number 23. We are going to do it in the 240 by 150 hoop, so I can go ahead and do that. And I'm going to have it stitch in the upper left corner. So I'm going to just slide this outside and then touch the jump to hoop icon, and that will bring it right to the center. Touch go. The embroidery arm is going to move into position, and it tells me to attach the hoop. So I'm going to go ahead and slide the hoop on, listen for the click, and then touch the green check mark, and it will go ahead and move the design to where I want to stitch. Now, one thing I like to do before I actually start stitching is see where this design is actually going to sew out. Make sure it's exactly where I want it to be. So go ahead and touch the design positioning. That's the little flower with the 4 arrows, and this will bring up a place where you can change the position. Let me show you what I want you to do first. Down here along the bottom, there are 4 arrows plus a center. So if I touch that first one, it moves the needle and the cursor right here on screen to the top left corner. If I touch the next one, bottom left, hop over the center. Now that's the bottom right and top right. So as I do it, I'm watching over here and just making sure that it's where I think it's going to stitch. The one in the center brings that needle to the center, which if I was to line up this design to be right here in the middle of our fabric, I want my cursor to be sitting in the middle of my design. Then I can move that right into position, for example. I can bring that right over that mark and then tap it into position. So that's how I move things all the way in, and again, nice slow increments, which is what I like because I can get it exactly where I want it to be. And then when I bring that needle down, I can see if I am to that point exactly where I want it to be. So right now I'm just going to move it kind of back up into the top corner and do the green check mark. And I'm ready to stitch. So it's going to go ahead and stitch the color yellow first. That's color number 1. You can touch the color blocks and bring those up. And when this is done stitching, it will stop. And then it will we'll switch colors and we'll stitch out the center of color number 2. So what you want to do is just hold on to your thread and push the start stop button. Count to 3. 1, 2, 3. And then you can pull the thread after you kind of feel it cut, and that will come right on out. And it's going to go ahead and start to sew. When the machine stops, it's time to change the thread. On the screen, change thread color. Now you do not have to touch this green check mark each time, unless you need to see the screen to kind of get an idea of what color is coming up next. But we kind of know that the next little part is the part in the middle. So we'll just go ahead, change the thread. You'll get really good at using that needle threader, so if any reason it is not lining up, go ahead and get it fixed by your dealer. And we'll just pull that through, touch the start stop button, and let it count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Pull that thread out, and we'll let the design finish. When the design is completely done, you'll get a message, embroidery is finished. You can touch the green check mark, and let's go ahead and pull the hoop off the embroidery arm. This thread right here has already been cut, even though it looks like it's still attached to the last stitch. But look, just swish it through or pull the hoop out and it will come out. That also cuts the bobbin thread at the very end. Speaking of bobbin thread, let's just look on the back side. We want to be able to see some of the color from the top on the back side. That means that no bobbin thread is showing on the front. Now notice here, we stitched this part first and then it stopped and then did the center. This would be a great place to put a little monogram in there, just a single letter. So we could have skipped this little guy. We could also have looked at this design and said, ooh, I need a little flower, skipped the whole outside area and just embroidered those little flowers on something that might need something a little bit more delicate and not so heavily stitched. So remember, when you have areas that are stitched in different sections, you can skip around and pick the ones you want. Isn't that beautiful? I told you they look so much prettier stitched out than just what you see in your book.